Welcome. I hope your belief in the law of attraction is growing. Today, I want to clear up some confusion around the idea of taking no action that comes up a lot in manifestation discussions, especially when referencing Neville Goddard. If you have wondered what take no action really means, this video is for you. I will also be sharing a short exercise that you can do to confirm that you are living in the end, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The answer to the question of whether or not you need to be taking action will line up with whatever state of mind you are in. What identity are you living with most of the time? When Neville talks about taking no action, he is not saying that you should sit back and do nothing to get what you want. What he really means is that you don't need to force things to happen in the 3D world. You don't have to mentally exhaust yourself trying to figure out the how of making your desires come true when you're living and identifying with the version of you who you really want to be. Neville is crystal clear about this. The only place you should freely exercise your will is in your imagination. Therefore, willpower is not required. Your actions should flow naturally from the right state of mind. There's this idea that you need to do without doing and everything will kind of get done. It's about taking actions effortlessly without feeling like, you're pushing against the grain, you're pushing against the world. And that is the part that happens automatically depending on what state of mind you are living in, what identity you are attaching to yourself. Once you assume the identity of the person that is living with what they want, the key is to tune into how you feel about the actions that need to be taken. If it feels good and right, go for it. If it feels like you're pushing against something or there's a strong mental resistance, if you're getting bad feelings about something or someone, that can be a sign to hold off. The feeling might be subtle, but it's there. It's always there guiding you. And, sometimes you get that feeling that I really don't want to do this right this second, but I know I need to do it and I'll be happier if I do. And that is also inspired action because you are uncomfortable not taking those actions and can't relax until you do. So let's talk about a practical example. Let's say you want to, learn something new or want to be a strong student. If you haven't adopted the state of certainty that you are successful, that you learn easily, and that you love to learn new things, you'll probably face doubts and experience a lot of inner conflict. And all of that can make learning harder. It might make retaining new information difficult. So then you start to see evidence of that inner state when you don't do so well on an exam or on an assignment. The amazing thing is that, once you fully stepped into that state of mind of being a fast learner, an amazing student, learning becomes incredibly easy. And this applies to anything you want. Once you assume the correct state, the right outlook and opportunities will start to appear, and you'll know exactly what actions to take and how to take them. Those actions that you are required to take will start to flow naturally from your new state of being. In the end, it will feel like it wasn't hard at all. And that's what every successful person says. You've heard people say that if you like what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's kind of tied to this, right? No willpower is necessary. Neville and other great teachers emphasize that everything starts in the mind. Your outer reality is a reflection of your inner state, not the other way around. Some goals might require a lot of action in the 3D world, but when you're in the right state of mind, that work becomes exhilarating and you can even enjoy it and feel like it's not work at all. It's no longer a struggle because you're just aligning the 3D with your 4D reality. And now, just a note on inspired action. It's important to realize that we often don't consciously know why we do things. And, what might seem like a random decision, like stopping by a store on a whim or deciding to try wine tasting for the first time, when you think that you don't really get or understand why people enjoy different types of wine, could set off a chain of events that leads to your desire manifesting. It's all about the state you're in. Every action, conversation, and decision you make stems from your mental state, beliefs, and subconscious programming. So here's a little exercise to practice living in any state that you choose, and you can choose them. Step one, think about something you want and the version of you that has that thing already. Step two, now that we figured out what state we want to assume, we're going to zoom right into one small specific thing you do in your day, but we're going to do that from the version of you that is living in the end. And we can do a little bit of research here and figure out, how would that person think, by asking yourself what it would feel like to do this thing right now if you were the person who already has it. So, let's say you want to be wealthier. If you normally check your bank account and begin that by thinking, let me check how much money I have left, you can check your account instead thinking, how much do I have? The person that has more money than you currently would not worry about what is left. Checking to see what is left is coming from an identity, that experiences a lack of money and is worried about it running out. The person who is not worrying about money, running out, checks the account to see what they have. So looking at the account to see what you have is an act of gratitude and abundance. It's kind of like, taking a hike, looking around and saying, wow, look at all these trees, these flowers and mountains or lakes. Instead of taking that hike and thinking, I wonder how long before they cut down all these trees, or there is a forest fire, or some natural disaster will destroy all this beauty, or something negative like that. So what would it feel like right now to have what you want? Like, let's say you walk into a grocery store to buy groceries without having to check the prices. What would that feel like? Step three, once you have identified, what that would feel like by asking yourself, now we can live it for just a brief moment very easily. The research is done. You've thought about it from the old state. Now we can live in the new state of the wish fulfilled. And again, do this for just a moment and see how it feels. And I encourage you again to only do this for a short period of time. Don't stress yourself out thinking that you need to do this for like an hour or even 10 minutes. It's a brief moment. What would this feel like right this second? Step four, now that you have seen how easy it is to do this for a brief moment, you can start to string these small snippets of observation. You're observing your world from the state of having everything that you want. Next, how would the person make their coffee in the morning? How would how would you head to the shower, to start your day? How would that person plug in the phone to charge it? How would that person lay down at the end of the day to rest? If you do this, I promise you, you will see how living in the end can be done despite what you are currently experiencing around you right now. Because all that is malleable, right? Everything around you can change instantly. So if you take one thing away from this, if you don't make the effort to shift your mental state, you'll just keep getting more of the same. True lasting change in the 3D world only comes from that mental shift. And that's where your real power lies. That's when, actions feel effortless and even enjoyable. That's where the whole, take no action, or you don't need to take action, comes from. So I hope this resonates with you and helps you on your manifestation journey. Keep focusing on shifting your inner state, and the rest will follow you. I appreciate your support, that you like the channel. Until next time, stay aligned with what you want and remember that you can have anything that you want.